Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all staying safe and healthy. This has been an especially difficult time for all of us, and I wanted to share some tips from an expert in the field. Dr. Nina Cerfolio is a psychiatrist, and she's going to share some tips about mood and coping strategies that I hope you find useful. Again, stay safe and healthy, and take care of your loved ones. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, and kind of what you do? Well, I know who you are. Can you tell me if you're watching who you are and what you do?
Of course, of course. So I am a board certified psychiatrist. I'm also an analyst. I'm a clinical assistant professor at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York City. I teach third and fourth year psychiatry residents, long-term psychotherapy, and I have a private practice right next door to you. We're neighbors.
How we met.
We have beautiful offices. You have a beautiful office.
I'm glad that you're my neighbor. It's very nice.
I'm so happy you're my neighbor. I miss you, neighbor.
Do you actually like my beard?
I love it. It looks sexy. It looks great.
Oh, okay. I was gonna shave it today. Actually, all right. If you like, my wife said it actually looks pretty good too. So I was.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, thanks. Well, I will. I actually trimmed it yesterday in anticipation of this today.
Okay, it looks great.
Yeah, I just really wanted to ask you a couple things. I mean, ever since this all started, I would say the first 2 weeks I couldn't sleep. I had no energy. I was withdrawn. I didn't want to talk to friends. I'm doing better now, but I just want to know what you're seeing in your patients, and are my feelings normal or abnormal, and what you think as an expert in this.
Yeah, no, I think that's totally normal. All of us are feeling depressed, anxious, deprived of our normal routines. You know, we're social entities by nature, and we want to be with our friends and being able to go to work and do the things that we can do, like even go get a cup of coffee. So I think it's very normal to feel despondent, withdrawn, anxious. And that's why I think it's so important, if you can, even if it's for 15 minutes, and I know in New York City it's difficult, but even if you can get outside for 15 minutes and walk around the block, or run, or do some physical activity outdoors, because just the melatonin helps reset our system so that we can sleep better at night. And that's one thing. Another thing I think is helpful is just mindfulness. So I don't know if meditation is part of your practice, but even if it's for 5 minutes, and there are many apps now that can do guided meditation that help you, just even if you deep breathe for a minute or longer, that really helps ground us and settle us. So, you know, to try to be less anxious and feel like we're in our bodies. Because often when people get anxious, there's various levels of dissociation, and you get more and more kind of outside of your body.
Sure. So, I mean, are you seeing in your patients, is it grief, anxiety, depression? What loss? What is it that we're all experiencing? Is it uncertainty? What is it like as a psychiatrist? Like how would you describe it?
I think so many of my patients that I talk to are feeling anxious. They feel more uncertain. They're having a hard time dealing more with the unknown.
Okay.
But I also think that if we can, there's always a silver lining in everything. So the silver lining in coronavirus is that if we can embrace the unknown, because really life is about the unknown, and now we don't have our normal structure of going to work and being able to visit our friends and go out shopping. So we can embrace more the unknown, which is life, right? So how do you deal with that more, the unknown? How do you realize we really don't have control over many things in our life? But so to not try to control the things we can't control, and right now we have to stay home. to mitigate the virus, but to control the things we can. So that, like meditating, exercising, deep breathing, reaching out to others. This is also a time where we can actually reach out to others who are more vulnerable than us. And we can be of service more to other people. I think the more that we think about trying to help someone else, it brings us out of our own problems and our own obsessions with what's upsetting us, and we can feel better about, we're all connected. We're all in this together, and everything that we do as an individual reverberates to everyone else in the world. So it also emphasizes that we're all interconnected. We're all in this together. And that insists that we're like social by nature, and it focuses on our humanity as people, which I think is so important.
So I guess the things that you would suggest the most, and I found exercise super helpful for me. I've been working out every day for an hour, and
Great.
it's changed. Honestly, before I did that, I was struggling. I
Yes.
had some bad days, but it's definitely helped me.
Yes.
Meditation is something, and then just focusing on what we can control and trying to let go of what we can't control. That sounds like the words of wisdom that you have for
Yes.
person.
Yes. For me, working out an hour every day has been so, it's so empowering, and I feel so much better. Just endorphins, being outside. I love to be outside, even if it's running along the road. It's really helpful.
So what advice do you have that we could do for people that we know struggle with mental health prior to this and are struggling even more, or if we have friends or family members that we know are struggling, what can we do to help them?
So I think if we can call them, you can't go visit them, especially if they're elderly,
Sure.
but reaching out to them, calling them, if you can, figuring out things that you can do to help them, like sometimes buying groceries for them and just leaving it at the door, just checking in with them,
Okay.
through social media, or calling them on the phone.
Okay.
Yeah. And letting them know that, we're there for them, we're thinking of them, and that we're all in this together. I mean, all of us are going through this together, and it is worse we're fortunate. So I try to just focus on things that I'm grateful for every day. And that really helps as well. That helps me as well.
Is it normal that sometimes I feel guilty that I feel sad, and that I I know that I'm, doing better than most people. There's a lot of people that are much worse off than I am, but I still feel sad for my own loss and my changes in my life. But then I feel this weird feeling of guilt that I should not feel sad, that I should be more appreciative. Is that a normal feeling?
It's totally normal. It's totally normal to feel guilty, sure. I mean, you're a human being. You're entitled to your feelings. Look, you're a great dermatologist. I feel lost not being able to come see you. I'm sure, really, all your patients do as well. So all of us have been deprived of going to work, doing our daily routines, seeing our friends. Not being able to do all these things is really upsetting. So why aren't you're just as entitled to that as anyone else. So I think it's so normal to feel guilty.
Okay. I want to see, are there any resources? Are there any online resources that you'd recommend for people? Are there anything that you're aware of that you're telling your patients, that other than the meditation apps, is there anything else that
I mean, I've blogged on my website a lot about ways to cope more with the coronavirus, and they're apps for relaxation, they're apps for guided meditation. Calm is one, I know.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of other. Yeah, I don't know. Other than that,
That's fine.
those would be, yeah.
That's good. So, do you have any other words of wisdom, or is there, is there something that you're seeing that's really common among your patients now that's different than something you didn't see 2 months ago or 6 weeks ago before the coronavirus started?
Yeah, I just think it's so important that that if we that the coronavirus, the silver lining of it is that it teaches us to slow down and to reconnect with ourselves and other people so that we can not be at this really fast pace that we've been at as a society, and we can really reset and slow down. And if we can learn how to focus on our divine feminine, I think that that's so important, because a lot of our society, especially in New York City, is about, so all of us have divine feminine energy and masculine energy. And masculine energy is more about doing, it's about achievement, which all is great things. But I think our society's become almost too obsessed with those things. And the divine feminine is more about being, not doing.
I see.
And about resting and focusing on how we're connected to other people, and how we can be of service to other people. So instead of it being about me, which is kind of more the masculine energy, the divine feminine energy is more about we. And I think that this whole pandemic allows us, I mean, it really, to me, insists upon the fact that we're all interconnected. There are no boundaries with states or countries or continents, that what one person does reverberates to another person across the globe, and that we can be of service. Just staying home is a service to people that are at war or don't have any control over social distancing. So yeah, to me, that has been so helpful to focus on that. And also just we can see it on our planet that it's had a time now to recover from man-made pollution, that the air is healthier, the waters in Venice are cleaner. They said there's 30% less population over the tri-state area. In India, you can finally see the Himalaya mountains. All these things are so helpful for our planet. And I feel like it's all a gift of coronavirus. So for me, to focus on the things that I'm grateful for is really helpful. And I try to just think of one thing a day, and it helps me a lot.
Okay, that's wonderful. And then you were saying that you have a blog. What's your website? Can you give me your website information and what time?
Yes, it's www.ninacerfoliomd.com.
Okay.
Yes.
And you just blog about different things, like topics. Look for.
I blog about different things, and I've been blogging a lot about how to cope with coronavirus and what is the silver lining of coronavirus, and yeah, about the things that I've been talking to you about, basically.
So what's been for you as an individual, not as a doctor or psychiatrist, what has been the thing that's helped you the most? Has it been like the walking, the exercising, or what? Is there anything particular that you go to when you're more stressed or more anxious?
Yeah, I think just for me, it's being in nature, or exercising.
Okay.
Yeah, we're so fortunate. Our office is right across the park from Washington Square Park. For me, just even resetting for 5 minutes in sitting and breathing in the trees, that's just so restorative and healthy. It lowers my blood pressure. I feel more reassured.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that's.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yes, that's really helpful for me.
Yeah, I went out to near Washington Square Park actually yesterday and just sat there for 10 minutes and put some music on by myself. There was no one near me. And it was lovely. It felt really nice. For exercise, I've been doing the website beachbody.com. Have you heard of it before? Or beachbodyondemand.com.
Great.
Highly recommend it.
Awesome. What is it?
I think it's beachbodyondemand.com. They have a free trial, and they have all these different trainers.
Oh, wow.
And they have some of their workouts involve weights, some of them don't. They have dance workouts. They have more like hardcore workouts. And it's really nice in that they have programs, and what's been helpful for me is that I'm like, okay, I have to day 1, day 2, day 3. It's so it kind of
Right.
forces me to do it. Whereas if I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go
Right.
sit down go do some push-ups on my floor, that doesn't work for me. At least it doesn't work for me typically.
Yes.
So thank you.
No, I
Sorry about that. Thank you so much for this. This is great.
Oh, thank you.
Is there anything else,
I'm
is there anything else
grateful to
you
be
want?
able to talk to you.
Oh, thank you. Is there anything else you want to like share? Is there any questions I should have asked you that I didn't ask you?
No, I just hope you stay safe. We need you.
Oh, I am so grateful for you to do this. Thank you. I know you're busy, and have fun with your boyfriend, and take care of your patients and take care of yourself.
Thank you.
Healthy. And if you need anything,
Bless you. You as well.